Good morning. Does anyone have to have a cup that reminds them of whatever saying you need for that day? It is well. It is well. This is a much later start than a normal day, but I had a fluke incident where Cassidy was up all night. Like I turned on Sound of Music at 2 a.m. because our internet doesn't work, and so that's one of the more G-rated movies that was on our USB that's plugged into our TV. So yes, I slept through it, but she watched, I don't know how much of it. Oh my goodness. Okay, good morning. This is long overdue to talk about where we are at, where we are going, what the plan is, but it was kind of nice to kind of jump away and get my mind off of infertility for a while. If anybody goes through it, or you know anybody that does go through it, it can be very consuming, and so having something to be able to distract yourself is really good. And for us, that is our garden. We have been all hands on deck to the point where I'm really bummed at myself. I wish I would have filmed more because there were beds that got put in place for the very first time, soil that was moving, and I just more wanted to get it done than to pause and film it. But now I'm kicking myself because man, that has been such a transformation over the last 3 months. And I will start this video by trying my hardest to encourage you guys to find some love and passion within homesteading. And when I say that, we would consider ourselves that we were homesteading when we were... Ricky, leave the chickens alone. Yes, Ricky, our pig, gets out on a regular basis, and we're okay with that. The sweetest pig of all times. Okay, I will use the start of this video to jump onto a soapbox and try to encourage you to find some passion in homesteading. And we would have considered ourselves homesteading different things when we were even living in a condo. I knew how to make bone broth. I was cooking from scratch. I was buying at the farmer's market with what we could afford at the time by shopping by the Dirty Dozen and the Clean 15. Anyways, my health issue started with infertility being my Kickstarter of why to get healthier. But we all have our health issues and things and reasons of why we want to get healthier. And I'm telling you, guys, coming back to the land is so healing. And if you guys struggle with infertility specifically, I'm telling you, you will find, I hope you will find so much joy. I so desperately want you guys to get healthy alongside of us, and mostly because I want to hear stories of, oh my goodness, I healed this, that, and the other. And if you say you heal your infertility, even better. Okay, but I figured I would start this video before we share of where we're going, what's going on, what the plan is. I had a double ovulation surge this month, and so I figured I would show you because I don't have it all that often, and so it's kind of something fun to be able to see. I know that reading ovulation sticks can be super confusing, and if you're like me and you only buy the cheap ones, to me the cheap ones are the way to go because the smiley faces, I want to be able to see exactly what's going on. Am I building up to it? Do I need to know it's coming? Versus just no, yes, no. Anyways, okay. So I took ovulation tests, and I will just bring you on in. I don't have to start super early because I just know when it's coming, so I'm usually testing like maybe a day before I actually ovulate. But what happened here was, these are a few days old, so they're a little dry, so they're not as dark color as they were when they were live. So I saw, okay, it's starting to come. And then next day, it got darker to the point where I checked just 12 hours later because I saw, oh my gosh, we're getting very close, not quite as dark. And so I know that this is not a positive, but then a handful of hours later, it lightened up like majorly. That night, I took it again and it was still light. But then the next morning, just over 24 hours later, I had a true positive. And if you can see that the test line is darker than the control line, but even if it was the same color, we would know that it's a positive. But this is darker, and this is my double surge. So this didn't get to the same color, so you know it's a negative, but it was so close. But then faded out that day, and then ramped back up and actually had a surge the next day. And then I tested 12 hours later just to see how long my surge lasted, and it was a negative. Let's see, can you see that? Yeah, can you tell that that one's a negative? It's not quite as dark as the control line. All that to show you is that you can have something called a double surge, where your body kind of ramps up and your luteinizing hormone, which is what it's testing, is getting higher and then fades out. And you're like, what the heck? That's, maybe I missed it. Oh, maybe I just didn't test within those certain couple of hours and I missed the positive. No, probably not. It's probably ramping up to do another double surge. So it tried to do it, but didn't release the egg, kind of dipped back down and then really ramped up that luteinizing hormone. And then the egg will pop out of the follicle within 12 to 48 hours. So unfortunately, that time window is a little more big, and you will know more if you follow yourself with ultrasounds when you're going through a fertility clinic. Lucky enough for me, I know that I used to ovulate about 36 hours after a positive, but that was a long time ago, and my body has changed, and I have actually birthed a child since then, so that could be all different. So we don't know. This is a handful of days old, and now I can officially throw all of these away. Philip is going back in today to get retested after his varicocele surgery. So we struggle with a lot of infertility, but a big factor is a male factor infertility. It would be a miracle, beyond a miracle, to get pregnant when 0 sperm are moving in a good, rapid direction. The ones that are moving are just kind of wedging in place. And so we did something called a varicocele surgery. So Philip is actually getting retested. So I was doing my ovulation, and they frantically were able to get him into this one spot. And so TMI, but my ovulation and him having to abstain for his test didn't totally match up this month, which is kind of a bummer. But we are very curious on his results, and it probably won't be in this video because it's going to take probably a couple days for them to get it back to the doctor and them to call us. So I'll do a whole video on, did it work? Did a varicocele surgery help? Our doctor is very confident that even if the surgery doesn't improve his sperm count and motility to the point that we could conceive naturally, he's very confident that the quality of the sperm will increase with decreasing the heat that is produced by these extra varicoceles or varicose veins in the delicate region. And so he's confident that it would even help our IVF, having quality embryos, because if you know us from the past, we've had a lot of embryos that are not typical and did not result in a full pregnancy because we had a lot of genetically abnormal embryos. So then when we're exhausted and we haven't decided to look at our list for the day yet, and we just randomly let our mind decide what we're gonna do next, we have to leave soon. We've got a lot to do today, like a lot to do today. And I am now maybe going to pull out all my winter clothes, like 3 months late, and all my summer clothes I just pulled down. I was going upstairs to my summer boxes to go grab something. I'm so tired. I don't want to. Guys, I don't want to. It's funny because today we're talking about infertility, and we would love to have a big family. Now, if we have 3 kids and that's it, we're going to be happy, and we are so happy and thrilled with where our family is at. But we love growing our family. Hey, Ninny Muggins, get off my bed! You're crazy. They're fun. See, they're fun. And so We would love having more kids, and we just don't feel like our family is complete yet. And we don't know what that's going to look like, but I am curious on what our options are after getting tested today. So what is our fertility plan going forward? Well, it really depends. Let's say that Philip comes back normal. It has now been 3 months, and so if he is normal, we could try. I'm not holding my breath, but that's a possibility. And I know people do the surgery and they might not see good results for a year, maybe even 18 months. So we have 3 months, and to see, is there any change? Is it improving at all? And maybe it's improving some. Maybe we could do IUIs again. Maybe we do want to just jump right back into IVF. I think both of us are not opposed to it. And I have to be honest, Philip told me that this was it. We did our 2 retrievals and he was done. And he said, we're going to get what we get and we don't throw a fit. And when we didn't have our embryo stick this year, when we did our transfer, still trying to not wish that I did it through my old doctor, but moving forward, we both instantly felt like that door didn't close, that wasn't done. And for Philip to say that he wasn't done with IVF, that's huge. So I don't know where we're at with that, but I would say it's a strong possibility that this fall we will be going through an egg retrieval again. Can someone tell me if vests are still in style? I keep it. I like it. I never put it on. I have my puffy vest that I will use because I use that for practicality. But this isn't necessarily practical. It just kind of adds a layering piece. It's cute. It's very cute. But I do this. If I don't wear it, I'm supposed to get rid of it. But then I look at it, I'm like, but I might wear it. So then why? That's why there's so much stuff. I have a goal to be a minimalist in most of the house. When it comes to my closet, maybe the kitchen, not so much. Can I tell you something that I feel like was a good epiphany for me? I would just say within the last few days. I felt like the input of society and social media and pictures and beautiful Pinterest, it's awesome. However, I got it in my heart for many, many years that I wanted this pristine looking kitchen. And I was so disappointed that it just never looked that way. It never looked like a model home. In the last few days, I was thinking, I want it to look like I'm using it. I want it to look like I have bread rising on the counter. I want it to look like I have sauerkraut fermenting on the counter. I want it to look like I'm using it and I'm cooking from scratch and I'm freeze dry. Dream world. Dream world is to get a freeze dryer. I am dehydrating, I'm canning, I'm preserving, I'm making freezer meals, whatever it is. Why did we let society creep into our brain to feel like it has to look a certain way? Anyhow, food for thought. I know it's not really part of this infertility chit chat today, but need more coffee, climbing over a pile of clothes. Need more coffee. Like this one. It's cute. Like imagine with like a nice pencil skirt going to church. I don't wear it. Gotta let it go. Alex, let it go. I can't. Struggles are real. Okay, my goal was to show you guys farm chores today. But Philip is doing farm chores because I was up so much last night. And we need to leave in, oh my gosh, we have to leave in an hour. Do you want to ask Daddy how he's doing? Does he need help? Did he leave?
Hi guys.
Hi guys.
Hi guys.
Hi guys. Okay, I literally should have done this months ago. All right. Winter stuff. Going into the boxes. I have so much to do today, but do you guys know that feeling of I didn't sleep and so therefore like what am I doing right now? Okay, fun fact, I drink my coffee very slow. Like I am halfway through my first cup of coffee, like to the point where it's cold. I pretty much don't drink hot coffee at all. It might start hot, but I add so much milk to it, it cools down, and then I drink it so slow. What's up, baby? I knew that was gonna happen. Being sleep deprived and having a busy day equals a 2-day vlog, which makes me laugh because I feel like that's been our norm recently since pretty much moving here. It's just gotten so crazy and so busy, but I always have a dream and a goal of bringing you guys along so much more because it's so beautiful and life-giving, and it's just something that I could have soaked up and enjoyed as a viewer when I was sitting in the condo really sad through my infertility, just because today we're talking about infertility, so I'm assuming a lot of you either have that passion in your heart to love on others that are going through it, or it's something that you're going through yourself, and that just stinks, and I hate that for you, and it's the worst. I'm telling you, people who don't walk through it, a lot of people can be compassionate, which is great, but you just don't quite understand until you've been through it, and I hear you. It's awful, and it's a pit of despair, and trying to get out of that is a feat. And if you are positive today and smiling today and encouraged, and you got yourself out of crying on the bathroom floor, you are so awesome. I have cried on the bathroom floor or anywhere else, screaming in my car, more times than I can count. But we are, and I want to make sure I say this to make it very clear, we are very blessed. We are on the other side of empty arms. We are not on the other side of infertility, but we are on the other side of empty arms. And to me, the hardest season is the empty arm phase, where you are craving and desiring to be a mom, and your arms are still empty. And we have been blessed. If you guys are new here, our first 2 came to us through adoption. Our 3rd came to us through IVF. And so we have all these miracle babies in our house, and we would love to grow our family, but it is not lost on us on how blessed and how amazingly, overwhelmingly, like tears in my eyes just take my breath away, blessed. And I want to be very clear, and I hate this because I'm in this in-between phase where I want to love and encourage and say that you guys aren't alone, but on that empty arm phase, it stinks watching someone who is in a different season. And I have to say, there have been some baby announcements recently, and I'm just like, like it shouldn't still bother me. And I'm happy for people. I'm in a different season where I encourage people, if you're in the really hard season, it is okay to say no to go to a baby shower. Just try not to live in that season. And for a while, the baby announcements weren't stinging. And that might be because we were really actively pursuing fertility treatments, and I felt like our time was coming, and then we did get to experience a full-term pregnancy instead of loss after loss after loss. And so that was amazing. And then I had a lot of work to do to help my youngest get healthy through open heart surgery. So I was just very busy, which is great. And I encourage you to have a hobby to get your mind off of that infertility, because basking in it is just so painful. And for me, I used to think, like, I imagine gardening as like older ladies in like really funny looking hats, and it just makes me laugh now because maybe I am the old lady and now I'm wearing a funny looking hat. but I love it. This brings me so much life and joy, and when I'm feeling down, getting grounded and like touching plants that are touching the ground and just like being outside, breathing, being in nature, vitamin D, all the things. It is very life-giving. And so it might not be a garden, but I do encourage anybody going through infertility to find that joy, that spark, that love of something. Maybe it's scrapbooking or hanging out with friends or making up a new game. I don't know. We could brainstorm all day, but let's find a hobby for everybody to just find joy and peace and love and just being able to be rejuvenated when life can get painful. Okay, so I'm just standing in my tomato section, which is this wall of tomato trellises. I love them, but I wanted to wrap up. Okay, so where are we at with our journey? And Philip did get feedback from his doctor that it was going to be a couple of weeks before he would get the results. So I will do a whole separate standalone video on 3 months post varicocele surgery and 6 months post varicocele surgery, what our plan, everything. Let's see. Can we get a different garden perspective? And so our plan is really based off of the results that we get from this test, and then if we can be patient and wait for the 6 months. I feel like those are two really big indicators of, is there any budging? Is there any movement? Is there any chance to fix the male factor infertility side? And then at that point, how much are we willing to wait? Anywho, it's not a very clear update of what I would love to give you, but this is where we are at. So I would expect over the next handful of months that you'll probably see anywhere between amazing, exciting results to an IUI to maybe IVF. So I promise to get back on here and share, I promise to get back on here and share more updates as we get them. Okay, well, I'm gonna get to pruning, and I will see you guys in our next video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will say it again, you guys mean the world to us. I love our community has become, the people who've been watching our core and our family, and just know that you are seen, you're loved. We're so thankful for you, and I'm excited for things to come. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you guys in our next video. Let your love multiply. Bye, guys.